Unfortunately, the owner passed away about a year and a half ago. He was a person that loved color. It's kind of hard to think of a flower that he doesn't have here. Hi, I'm John Valentino, president of John and Bob's, and I'm here with Chip Valentino, vice president of Spring Bloom. He found this garden, which we've been at several times, and we're here to show it to you in the spring and celebrate spring. Okay, let's start over in this direction. Salvia and the alyssum, different types of annuals, geranium, Phaeoa sellowiana, which is pineapple guava. We have a beautiful dogwood. This one finished blooming, so we don't get to appreciate it much. We're walking under big green Japanese maples and walking under a red Japanese maple with hydrangeas getting ready to bloom, not quite blooming. We've got dianthus as a border plant, which is also at the tail end. Back side of the garden where not much is happening right now because there's quite a few dogwoods and they all finished blooming. We were hoping we'd catch some. Got these huge camphor trees, all that were planted when they first planted this garden about 35, 40 years ago, and they're quite large now, and they make a boundary right up against a pretty busy street. We've got dense shade from all this planting, from mock orange, Pittosporum tabayra, just a regular Pittosporum tabayra, and under it is regular sword ferns. And then we're entering an area where they had a big problem every year. This piece of lawn all around the ginkgo would almost look dead. It would look brown and the ginkgo wasn't growing. You know, when we have those kinds of problems, you can almost be sure that it's something related to soil. And so we did an intensive re-amending this area. So let's keep touring. Behind the iceberg roses is Aesculus carnea, red horse chestnut tree, which is not found that much in Fresno, but as you can see, it'll grow here. This is full size, really nice spring blooming tree and kind of unusual. These are iceberg roses grown as small trees. Annuals like pansies and snapdragons and such. Oscar's getting ready to change these, but he's got an event on May 8th or May 10th, so he's going to leave them blooming like this until right after the event, then he's going to change to summer annuals. It's quite an impressive display of flowers of all kinds. Chip, come this way. Don't go that way. Hey, Francisco. These iceberg roses bloom like this 3 or 4 times. Under it, they have annuals and other things. There's a nice vegetable garden. We're going to do a tomato video from here coming up. There's not a lot of activity in it right now. He's getting ready to plant the summer vegetables. We'll be looking at that in more detail. Now we can head into the back garden, which is quite extensive. There's asters about to bloom, lots of crepe myrtles everywhere, lots of container planting, big expanse of fescue lawn. This is the viburnum that was a big favorite of the owner. Under that is a good example of growing things here that you don't see too much of in Fresno, that rhododendron. You can grow rhododendrons in Fresno, but not easily. He has examples of that throughout the garden with unusual plants and unusual plants from Fresno doing well. We're walking under a big green Japanese maple and a very prolific grapefruit that produces delicious grapefruit. Lots of annuals along the walks. In this case, mostly pansies, roses and salvia, hydrangeas getting ready to bloom. We walk under a beautiful, what is that? Some type of magnolia. Hibiscus, there's lots of hibiscus. These hibiscus are good for Fresno and they bloom like crazy with a little waterfall and stream that goes into a bigger koi pond in another part of the garden. A lot of this was just recently planted because they had kind of big old overgrowth, and now you can see they planted roses and salvia and some new trees. I see a purple leaf plum, some azaleas and some loropetalum. This is a flowering cherry, pretty much a little bit of everything. Beautiful camphor, nicely pruned. And this lawn area was another area we had some problems with fungal disease, but not anymore. Different things like alstroemeria and geraniums. We've got all kinds of flowering plants, different camellias, which looks like they had already bloomed. This is right along the back border under ginkgos and Japanese Aralia, begonias and agapanthus and Japanese maples and redbuds and redwoods, the state tree of California, coast redwood. Then we get to the back where there is a big koi pond with lots of appropriate riparian planting around the koi pond and lots of flowers at different times. Things like crepe myrtle, which are going to bloom later, and more of the hibiscus. That's the Syriacus hibiscus. Quite a lush, beautiful planting in a garden that still has simplicity to it. Doesn't look like a mess because a lot of things were planted in mass. By providing really healthy soil, we've got a lot of things thriving here. This is Japanese Aralia, the foreground of different camellias and agapanthus and annuals with the alyssum, a red Japanese maple, another, what did I call it over there? I just forgot. Boy, it's the same thing that we saw over there. So many plants. Rhododendron. And then a beautiful rose garden, which is just starting to bloom. And we used about 3 cups blend per rose bush. They responded to that really well. Lots of different popular roses, some standard and some the shrub form. Let me see what this is. Purple potato vine grown as a tree right in the center of the rose garden, which should provide lots of good blooming. Another rhododendron, bougainvillea, doing fantastic, which more and more with a little bit warmer temperatures seems to do well in Fresno, but it can be damaged by cold, but that's a beautiful bougainvillea. Beautiful wisteria. You can see it's been here a while amongst this arbor. It could have been trained to grow over the arbor, but in this case they just have it growing around the columns. Oscar, did this wisteria bloom yet?
Yeah.
So we missed the bloom. Does it bloom quite a bit? Yeah, probably some of it gets too much shade, but yeah. So the ones that get more sun produce a good bloom. Okay, thank you, Oscar. So even though there's lots blooming now, it's planted in a way that there's lots blooming all the time, and so we can see lots of things that we didn't catch the bloom in because of the time we came here. That's how this garden is designed, full of blooming plants that give us something to look at all year round. If you enjoyed the tour, let us know. Make sure you subscribe. If you have any questions, ask us about it. It's a garden we are really pleased to have had the opportunity to use our products on, because we think it dramatically changed the appearance of the garden and the long-term maintenance of the garden, which is now not plagued with pest and disease.
And what are you going to do with that?
Well, every time I come here, I pick 1 or 2, and then over the next 2 or 3 days, I eat them. They're very good grapefruit. You know, this garden has native soil that's very heavy, very clay-like, doesn't drain well. It was landscaped without a lot of soil amendment. Where did Chip go?
He's right over there.
Okay. They had real serious problems every year with a fungal disease on the fescue lawn when we got into summer, and with lots of pests and diseases. They responded by using Merit, and every year they were ordering more and more Merit and lots of synthetic fungicide. They used Subdue. And each year the garden would look a little bit worse in summer. So about 7 years ago, we got involved and changed the protocol, actually stopped using the Merit and the Subdue, started infusing the soil with beneficial life by using our blend and our Penetrate liquid biotiller. And we used our fungicide Citral Blast. So that combination of items for the lawn and for the plants really changed the garden dramatically. Everything started looking healthier, blooming more, and that's epitomized by this area where last summer and the summer before, I think for the first time, remained green, and the ginkgo has started to grow. It's now a healthy garden that doesn't have fungal disease in the lawn in the summer and doesn't have pest and disease problem. It's the soil that's keeping everything healthy.